All right. Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in to today's Lions Talk Live Sunday edition. And you know what? Hey, we are one day closer to free agency hitting. We're already starting to see more and more speculation about teams cutting this player, that player, to try to free up salary cap for the upcoming season. And you know what? The Detroit Lions could actually be real winners because of that. Why, you may say? Because you know what? There's going to be some real players of interest that are going to hit free agency that might just be ideal fits for the Detroit Lions. Could we end up getting a couple players a little bit cheaper than anticipated? All these things will have to wait to be seen. But as you can probably tell from today's thumbnail, you got a number of different players that potentially will be hitting free agency because of being cut. One of them, as you can see, is Khalil Mack. He's probably not what he once was. He is still an impactful player. He can still get after the quarterback, but we all know that he's going to get paid, and the Chargers do not want to pay him what he once did. You also saw J.C. Jackson from New England, cornerback. He's a unique one in that he's going to save. He's got a cap number of a little over $14 million, and there would be no dead cap hit for the Patriots if they do cut him. So will he get cut? He is a projected target for them, but the reasoning why it wouldn't be so much salary cap relief as it would be just, I think, moving on for the player. Mack, on the other hand, he's got 30 for next year's salary cap, $38.5 million. They would save roughly a little over $23 million by cutting Khalil Mack. So is he a potential candidate? Absolutely. I think he is. And then you could probably also see LaShawn Lattimore. The Saints, we've talked about it for weeks. Saints are in a bit of a bad spot when it comes to the salary cap and some of their players. So I think there is some real potential. They might be moving on from him, which would be a position in need for the Detroit Lions. He can still play. He can still play man. Lattimore is a very good corner. And would he be a number one cornerback in Detroit? He probably would be. Is he a number one corner? Boy, I'm not 100% sure anymore. All right, before we get into any more of today's video, though, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about, survey says, about 80 subs away from hitting 6,000. And as you guys probably know, that's the marker we're trying to get to. So if you have a moment of time, if you enjoy the channel, if you just want to help out, whatever it may be, I mean, I'm okay with it. Just go ahead and hit the subscription button. Also, if you're enjoying the content, don't be afraid to go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Last but never least, if you are willing, give me a call, shoot me a text, 269-998-2384. If you're looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, go ahead and give me a call, whether it's the Upper Peninsula, Detroit area, Lansing area, Cadillac area, Kalamazoo area, Sturgis area. I mean, you get the idea. Anywhere throughout the state, give me a call, shoot me a text. Let me see if I can use over 30 years servicing the industry to save you a little bit of money. All right, with all those formalities out of the way, let's see what you guys got to say about NFL pending free agency and what should the Lions do. I mean, we made it to the NFC title game last year. I think we all get it was. You could put a lot of the emphasis on why we didn't ultimately get to the Super Bowl onto the defense. Not that they didn't play well at times, but that second half, obviously, they didn't do enough to close the deal. And the Lions blew a 17-point lead. The secondary is going to take a ton of heat in that game and throughout most of the season. They just, while they were probably better overall than the year before, was it really noticeably better? That's probably the big question anybody has. And I think going into the next season, the upcoming season, I should say, that's going to be a big question or topic. What can we do to improve that defense? The offense should still have a ton of weapons, should still be able to score, mid-20s, 30s a game. That should win you a whole lot of games in the NFL as long as you can limit the other team a wee bit. That's not so much the case with Detroit Lions. As we all know, the Lions, while the defense definitely improved throughout the season, still gave up a ton of points. So if you're Brad Holmes, is it time to say, what the heck, we're going to open up the wallet and start paying some people to come over here and help us with this problem? Is it possible we could sign a cornerback and a defensive end pass rush specialist? Could that be Chris Jones? Could that be Donnell Hunter? Could that be signing Khalil Mack? I mean, there's a lot of options out there. It's just, what do you guys think is going to be the option that gets it done? All right, let's see what you guys have to say. JDC, good morning, all. Good morning to you, too. Trump's, what do you got to woo? The first woo of the show. There you go. The Ric Flair woo. Trump, good morning, mellow yellow bellies. All right. We're a Mountain Dew crew here, I think, but we'll go with mellow yellow for now. All right. Stephanie agrees and salutations all. Looking like we have a real chance to head out and do something this free agency. I would agree. I think there is some potential. We obviously have the cap space. If we want to go out after one or two people, we can make that happen. So 100% there. JDC, nothing but echoes in here at this point. All right, I'll go with that. All right, mile marker, good morning. Are the Lions releasing quotes, best of videos? So far, I'm around St. Brown and Goff. Is that perhaps a hint of contracts being made? Ooh, Mile, that's a good question to have. I did see on YouTube when I was going through some stuff yesterday, the videos you're talking about, at least some of them, I'm guessing. And I don't know. I think we all agree Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to be a Lion. They're going to resign him. Heck, if they have to, they're going to franchise tag him. I just don't see a situation where he's departing the team anytime soon. In regards to Goff, I think most of us know, even though we may debate Hendon Hooker or whoever else, most of us get that Goff's going to be here, at least for a season, 2, 3. So we'll just say at least 3 years. After that, I mean, who really knows? At the NFL, somebody's future can change that fast. But I will say this. I think there's real potential that the Lions are probably closer to re-signing both of them than not, and then potentially other people. I'm going to anticipate they're going to want to at least get some clarity on one, if not both of those guys before free agency hits, because if you can save a little bit money with them, now you know you have a little bit more money to play around with somebody else. So good thinking there, Mile. All right, Detroit D, greetings and salutations, everyone. Good morning to you, too. Hopefully you have a great one, D. JDC, go Lions, 1,000%. Michael, greetings and salutations, coach and do crew, exclamation point. Yay, new router. There you go. Yeah, we got a new one yesterday. I now know who to go do with router questions. Yeah, it's not me, man. I got a buddy named Coop. He's, a tech guy, all that stuff. Yeah, he was able to take care of the problem. The old router's shot, but hey, he was kind enough to help me get a new one. All right, Brent, what do you got? Good morning, coaching Duke crew. It's time for Brad to open up the purse strings and bring in whoever he thinks will help us raise the Lombardi Trophy next year. I like the way you're thinking, Brent. Oh, we're so close. Let's get it done! Exclamation point. Yeah, I'm with you 1,000,000,000% on that. Hey, you got a window of opportunity here. How long that window stays open, that's the great debate in the NFL. In my opinion, windows close very quickly. So if you're going to really cash in on what you think is the potential that this team has this year, next year, etc., you better get after it. You better go out and get some people. And we can all say, hey, they've got a way of doing things. I get it. They've signed some people in free agency. Yes, they have not gone for home run players. They've gone for, I guess you could say the next level below the home run guys, the big name guys, or whatever you want to say. They clearly believe in building through the draft. I think we all get that part. But I'll also say this, windows of opportunity close typically pretty quick for NFL teams. So to your point, Brent, yeah, if you think you're that close, I'd be investing in 1 or 2 defensive players to try to help on out and take us over that stump, over the hump, whatever you want to say, and get into the Super Bowl, then win the Super Bowl. All right, Robert G. Good morning, Dan, the Duke crew, back at you. Hopefully having a great morning. Detroit D, with an extra $30 million in cap, Brad, go big name hunting? Yeah, I'm hoping he does. I guess that's the real question, D, is who does he target? I think we all get the same spots. There's no way to avoid it. The secondary needs help. The opposite end, opposite Hutchinson, needs help. Could you just stay in-house with one of those areas? Man, I don't know. I guess if you really believe in, James Houston, Joshua Pascal, Betts from the CFL, plus whatever you're going to do in the draft, then maybe you don't go that route. But I do think you're going to have a hard time getting studs to come in and perform next year from the draft alone, I should say, at both corner and edge. So if it's me, and I'm just saying if it's me, I'm going after at least one of those spots in free agency so I can look at the team and say, that's no longer a problem. I do think in the secondary, if you could sign one guy that you could say is your number one corner, and now Sutton's number two, Branch is number three, Jerry Jacobs, you bring him back, is quality depth at that point. I get a lot of people kind of threw some shade and hate at Jerry Jacobs, but same time, the guy should have never been a starting number two cornerback in the NFL. He should have been your number 3-4 depth guy. I think if you keep him to that, man, you've got real good depth in that secondary. But to your point, D, you got to go out and then bring in somebody. You guys all know my thoughts. Snead from Kansas City, he's the dude. He's the dude I'd be coming after. You could also say Jackson from the Bears. Lattimore, as I put in the thumbnail. I mean, he'd be a great fit, but get somebody out there to alleviate some of the need to have to rely on a rookie to save the day. That's my thoughts, at least. All right, Trump, now that they got some extra cash, maybe they lowered ticket prices. Probably not. Yeah. Prices are only going to go one way. Same with everything in this world, man. They only go one way over time. All right. Clark, what do you got? Good morning, Coach. Router fixed. It is fixed. And you know what? We're up and running. And I'm able to talk to you guys without having to just use the phone. So sorry about yesterday, guys. All right. Burger time. Good morning, Coach. Thanks for all you do. Exclamation points. Great show, of course. Thanks for that, Bergs, man. And hey, thanks for all you do to help me out, man. All right, Polar. I think the salary cap increase has CD Deuce coming back. I think you could be onto something there, Polar. I do think, how about this? We've heard a number of Lions players say they'd like to have the guy back. The coaches, really haven't said anything bad about him. There's probably a couple things they want to address or whatever. At least that's my assumption. I don't know that. But I could totally see him coming back. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with having a lot of good players. He didn't have much of a season last year, and we all get it. The injury in the second game of the season, he even played through that torn pec throughout that game against Seattle. That says something right there. Don't forget, you played basically the entire game with a torn pectoral muscle, and in the NFL of all leagues, that's pretty impressive. When he came back, he got 2 picks. You could say both of them, hey, right place and right time, but at the same point, there's a lot of guys who aren't in the right place at the right time. So some people have an act for that. Will the Lions go after him? I would say this, to your point, Polar, I would now put that as about a 70% chance CD Deuce returns. All right, Robert G, sign 2. All right, Robert, who you got? Who do you want to sign? If you got to name 2, who are you going to go after? My 2, if you guys are asking me, as you already know, at the cornerback position, it's Snead, and then I'm probably, hate saying it, but I'm probably going all in on Hunter. Those are probably the 2 I would target. Can you afford them both? You're going to have to do some better math than what I can do at 7:13 in the morning without a Mountain Dew. So I'll put it that way. AJ Buchanan agrees. Salutations. Yep, at Polar Bear. I could see that happening. Okay. Yeah. In regards to Deuce coming back. Yeah. Okay. Trump, I kicked CD to the curb. The guy played like trash. I mean, he didn't play as great as probably most people anticipated. But again, I mean, he was out, 3 months, 4 months, and came back, probably a little bit of rust, but he did make some plays during that time. And again, maybe the right place, the right time, but not everybody is always able to find themselves in the right place at the right time. All right, Robert G, sign Josh Allen and Jalen Johnson. Yeah, I'd be down with both of those. With Allen, I really do wonder if Jacksonville is going to let him go. And that's, I guess only one way to find out, right? Do they put the franchise tag on him or not? I'm going to guess they're going to do everything they can to retain him because he's pretty decent. In regards to Johnson, I'm surprised we don't hear more about that from the Bears. It's almost like they're just going to say, hey, he wants to go, we'll let him go. It doesn't seem like it's a huge priority, at least yet. Maybe, I don't keep up on the Bears as much as I do the Lions. Maybe they have said some things that I've missed. So apologies if that is the case. But he plays pretty well. I would say if Snead is the number 1 corner, I would go after. Johnson's not far off. There's probably an argument to be made. You're splitting hairs between the two to a certain degree. So I'm anticipating the Bears would want to re-sign him, but maybe not. Maybe they do want to move on. All right, Dave Bing, what do you got? Good morning, all. Hard to say on CD. He played only a few games after being out nearly all season. I'll trust whatever the coaches choose to do. That's fair, definitely. The coaches see him all the time. They see him every day. They know what he can potentially be and what maybe his deficiencies are. I would wonder if the Lions move on from him. That's what 3 teams that moved on in 3 years. There's got to be a little bit of a reasoning for that. And, could it be some of the social media stuff? Sure. But I would think while me as a coach, I probably don't want him doing it. I also don't think it's that big an issue. But to each their own. There are some things that none of us are privy to that the Lions coaching staff sees on a daily basis that we do not. All right, Jess, what do you got? Robert G, all damn day. Okay, yep. All right, fair enough. Detroit D, I believe we get big names at a bargain or prove it deals. Mack, Lattimore, Bosa, Gilmore, all on 1-year deals to continue to build our team through the draft. Yeah, D, the way you're thinking, I think you could be onto something there because we all get Brad Holmes or Dollar General Brad does not like to break the bank on anything. With that being said, if he can bring in some of these guys, as you say or suggest on prove-it deals, and then still have the draft capital to go out there and build to the draft, or maybe some of these guys can take over roles in the team for a year while some of those younger guys grow and develop and even learn from these guys on prove-it deals. Yeah, I could definitely see Brad Holmes doing that. All right, Zach, what do you got? Greetings and salutations, everyone. We should see more teams start their cuts in about 2 weeks. It will be interesting to see who hits free agency. You're spot on with that, man. You're already hearing chatter about who's going to get cut. This team's announcing that guy. The Lions, when they basically announced Tracy Walker's going to be gone, they didn't have to do that now. I believe they did it out of respect for Tracy Walker. He has been a good guy here. No complaints. I haven't heard anybody from a coaching staff or player standpoint talk any kind of mess about Tracy Walker. So with that being said, by letting that announcement get out now, Walker and his representation has a little bit more time to start kind of getting feelers out to teams. Hey, would you be interested? Could we go here? What do you got to do to sign here? Stuff, just helping the player out. And I do believe that to your point, Zach, that you're going to see more and more teams announce or pre-announce, I guess we should say, cuts, who's going to be let go from the team in the next week, I would say. Just because, again, if they weren't a problem for you and you're going to cut them, do it sooner versus later to help that player out. All right, JDC, on your thumbnail, Coach, more is better, I guess. So sign 2, Motor City Duke Crew would like the Lions to win it all now. Yeah, and I'm with you there. Can you work it out financially to get a couple different people? I believe you can. It's just, man, you will be committing some funds if you were to go after Jackson or Mack or, just Lattimore or whoever. These guys are going to get paid by somebody. If some of them survive the first 48 hours of free agency and aren't signed, then maybe when you get to like the 3rd, 4th, 5th day, a week later, if somebody hasn't signed, now you have some real potential to sign them for a little bit cheaper. All right, Doug, what do you got? Good morning. If I'm Holmes, I am in the win it now mode. Yeah, and I get that. I think we're all on the same page that the Lions have the opportunity to go out there and do something this year or next year. So to your point, yeah, if you're going to go after it, win it now, go after it, invest, do whatever you got to do to put the Lions in as advantageous situation as possible to win and be in that Super Bowl this upcoming season. Michael, I don't see Brad Holmes going hog wild in free agent market. I'm not getting my hopes up. Yeah, I think you're pretty right on with that, Michael. It's not a Brad Holmes, at least track record at this point, unless he's going to deviate from his norm. I'd say this, we've got to we got to hope for something, but we all are probably definitely aware, like you're suggesting, Michael, it's probably not going to happen, but we've been wrong before. All right, Robert G, what they say, exclamation point, go big or go home. Woo! There you go, man. Yeah, we'll see if he's able to go bigger than that. I mean, if he just brings in one guy, I think most of the fan base would be pretty happy. If he goes beyond that, then we're probably getting hysterical. And you know what? Hey, for this point in the year, before the season started and months before it's happened, before the draft and everything, man, this fan base would be on another level. Five Fingers, what do you got? Hey, all coaches, 80 subs from 6,000. Help him out and subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the exact number, but we're getting somewhere up there, somewhere around that. Yeah, we're 74 away. So if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live and are willing to do so, I would be thankful if you would subscribe. Thanks for that, though. All right, Trump, what do you got? Anyone get an Amber Alert at 2:30 a.m.? No, I mean, I'm pretty asleep by then. All right, Mile, yeah, what? Yeah, I have no idea, man. Quentin, what do you got? Greetings and salutations, all. Time to be in this in this stuff to win it and get the parts and put us into the dang Super Bowl. Stop worrying about the cash. Yeah, I would say that at some point. I mean, I get every GM, their job is to be financially responsible, fiscally responsible. But I also get that Brad Holmes, it's just who he is, man. He seems to say, hey, we can go out and get some good deals, bargains here, but we're not gonna break the bank at any point for this thing. So live and die with him. I get we all wanted to spend some cash, but will he do it? I guess we'll know in a few weeks. Polar Bear, do you think Brad Holmes will avoid spending more than a certain amount on a positional group? I guess that's a fair question, Polar. I don't think he's going to worry about the position so much. It's just whether or not there's great value and the return on that investment and any position. We've all talked about what we believe the positions of biggest needs for the Lions are, but that doesn't mean that's what he thinks. Could he just spend a bunch of the cap on the offensive line just to retain it and keep it strong? It is possible. So, man, there's no easy answer for that, Polar Bear. I just think he's going to go out and just do what he does, and he does it pretty well. Maya, what do you got? Amber Alert? Yeah, I have no idea on that, man. Ed, what do you got? Good morning, Coach and Duke crew. I hope they sign at least one big name free agent. And that's so, Ed, if they do go after one, what positional group are you wanting them to go after? That's my question to you. I'm thinking it's corner, but I don't know. Hookadoo, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. I'm running late, was listening to music before the show. It happens, man. Hey, sometimes you got to wake up and just do that. All right, Polar Bear. For example, Evan Brown in Glasgow. Yeah, that's an idea. Is that too much to invest in the offensive line? Do they need to balance it out with a rookie starter? To your point, so let's say you let Jonah Jackson go. I think for the price of letting Jonah Jackson go, could you bring in Evan Brown and re-sign Glasgow? So basically 2 guys versus 1. I think it'd be pretty dang close. My anticipation is, though, they're still going to address the offensive line. This draft is pretty deep at interior offensive line. So whether or not it's the first round or second round, I do think you're going to see in probably one of those rounds an offensive lineman snagged by Detroit. All right, Detroit D. Amber Alert, looking for a black Chrysler 3000. Okay. There's got to be more to this than I'm aware of, and yeah, I just have no clue, man. All right, Ed, the Atlanta Falcons are looking for a quarterback. Trade Hooker for their second and third round picks. Hey, we'll see what the Lions do on that, Ed, for sure. Dr. Troy, I just hope Brad isn't cheap and gets us a dominant D lineman and dominant cornerback. That would be nice if they did. And, hey, if he can somehow bring in Snead and Chris Jones, that would be great. That would be real great. All right, mile marker. What do you got? Thank you, Dr. Troy. Fair enough. All right. All right, Hookadoo. Brad Holmes has his own Brad Holmes has his okay with way of thinking. Who really knows what he will do? Yeah, and I have no idea what he's going to do. Everybody's speculating on what he's going to do. We all know what we want him to do, but that doesn't mean he's going to do that. All right, Polar Bear, if you mean big cash guy, Brad will sign one at the most. but Brad will sign multiple players in free agency. I still think cornerback is by far and away the most important. Yeah, I'm probably at least mostly in line with thinking with you on that. That if you can fix the cornerback group at least a little bit, I don't think you can get the true shutdown corner. There's just no Sauce Gardner out there right now. But with that being said, it doesn't mean they don't believe that they've got a pretty decent opposite side Hutchinson group to work with potentially. So yeah, maybe go after cornerback as best he can. All right, Dr. Detroit, doesn't sound like we are signing Goff. I think they are serious about kicking the tires on Hooker. Yeah, I would agree with that. I know there are people who don't want to believe that, but no, I've been talking about that, and you and I have been talking about it, Detroit, Dr. Detroit, for a while. I think there's real potential. They're going to wait on Goff until preseason. That way, you had the end of last year where you got to look at him for a while. You got the start of this year, so you'll be able to go through OTAs, preseason. And at that point, the coaching staff probably has at least a fairly decent idea what the potential of Hendon Hooker is. Now, if they think he's anywhere near Goff's level, so let's just say on a scale of 1-10, they think Goff's an 8 and Hooker's a 7.5. They're probably not very eager to re-sign Goff to a long-term deal. You still got him next year. You could still franchise him for 2 straight years if need be after that. So I like Goff. I want to be clear on that. But you also have to make business decisions at times. You can't keep everybody. And yes, we all know if you don't retain Jared Goff, you're freeing up 30 to 40 to 50 million a year that you can invest in other spots on the team, at least for the next 3 years. So we'll see what they end up doing. But no, I'm in agreement with you on that. Hooky Doo, his own way of thinking. Yeah, I knew you were going with that, man. Kurt Steele, the infamous one. What up, Doe? What up to you? Hopefully you're having a great morning, my friend. All right, Pierce, Dr. Troy, it's Brad Holmes. Expect B tier bargain basement. Yeah, he's gonna sift through it all to see what he can come up with. Coop, what do you got? It seems they probably need to see what they have in Hooker now rather than later, I suppose. Yeah, and again, like we were just talking about, I think that's probably what they're going to do this offseason. Michael, you got Hookadoo, thumbs up, yep. Jason, greetings, salutations from Vail, Colorado. Super doper bust. How's the slopes treating you? Hopefully you've been enjoying your little ski vacation. And good morning to you, Jason. 9 drinks. Woo! There we go. We got a new router. Yes, we did. And I want to thank my buddy Coop for that too. So that was real nice of him to help out with that. Hookadoo. New router. Yes, it is. And you know what? It makes everything run so much easier. All right, Polar Bear. I wonder how much of a drop-off there is between cornerback 1 and cornerback 7 in the draft. I like the idea of drafting the best center more than the 6th cornerback. Yeah, and I will say this for the draft. I think it really is going to just come down to who the best player is at that particular spot. The more you pay attention to Brad Holmes, I don't really think he forces, hey, let's get after this position, that position. He's just going to take the best football player, figure it out from there. So to your point, Polar, yeah, if let's just say there are a couple of corners available, but as you recommend there, what if it's cornerback number 8 or 7 or whatever, but offensive lineman number 2 is available, you're probably going offensive line. All right, Fred, I don't want Mac or Joey Bosa. Both are on the downside of their careers. Yeah, and I wouldn't be signing either one to very big deals if you were to bring them in. They would be basically 1-year prove-it deals. All right, Dr. Detroit, it all depends on who take the player at what spot. Teams miss all the time. Yeah, they do. And give Brad Holmes credit. We can all give him grief about being cheap or whatever else, but the guy owns the draft. He crushes it in the NFL draft. Polar Bear, I'm so excited for the show that I made only one PB&J. Fair enough. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, well, hopefully it was a good one, the one you had. All right, Pierce. Fred Mack still has, I think, 15 sacks minimum last season. Yeah, that's a pretty good season. Yeah, I think Pierce, if Mack is cut, I think it just comes down to, is there a bidding war for him? What you're going to have to pay to acquire him. I think those are probably the big numbers that you'll have to face with him and other potential free agents. What's it going to cost to bring him in? All right, Fred, Mack, and Bosa will want too much money for their production. There's probably real truth to that. All right, Robert Yankee, good morning, all. Good morning to you, too. Hopefully, having a great morning, my friend. Brent Snead would be my first choice to improve our defense. Yeah, I like him a lot. I also think there's some real good pass rush options that could be brought in potentially where we're going to be picking the first and second rounds. And I'm going to say somebody's going to come in and start when they're drafted, but I mean, I'm a homer when it comes to James Houston. I believe in that kid a ton. I do think you've got something there, Pascal, Betts. And now if you draft somebody too, just a pure pass rusher, maybe not somebody who's great against the run and pass. I just think that's going to be hard to get out of a rookie where we're picking. But if you can do that, then you've got some rotational pieces. You got some depth. You got some ability. Help out that secondary. All right, Ed. Atlanta needs an edge rusher. A trade for Hooker. Let them use their first-round pick on edge rusher. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. All right, mile marker. LOL, polar bear. There you go. All right, Trump. I blame our cornerback problems on coaching along with talent. Yeah, there could be a reason why we have a rotating door at the cornerback coach position or positional coach problem. All right, Fred Pierce Sargent. I'm checking on that. Thought he hadn't had double digits in the last 2 years. Yeah, I don't know max stats offhand, so I can't help you with that. Dr. Detroit. Some of the cornerback issues are the D-line issues. Yeah, if you can't get to the quarterback, no cornerback is going to hold up well for very long. All right, Robert, be careful, Jason. Sonny Bono used to ski at Val. Then never mind. Yes, there is some truth to that for sure. Man, that just brought up a memory and a flashback. Brent agreed Trumps. All right, fair enough. Polar Bear, I agree, Brent. If we don't trade for a cornerback, not having a first-round pick helps with the cap. So you could trade it. Well, yeah, you would save some money for sure. Pierce Fred, I just checked. He had a career year last year. Pierce, what were his stats? Just because I don't know offhand what his stats were. Nidrix, I'm with you. Brent, heck yeah, Snead. Yeah, I'm down with that. Dr. Troy, what up, Kurt? Exclamation point. Ed, I want to thank everyone for their thoughts on trading Hooker. I wouldn't give him away, but I'd rather trade him for a lot. Yeah, and hey, my own personal opinion, everybody's tradable. It's just what are you gonna get in return? If somebody's gonna make you an offer that's just too good, then yeah, everybody can be got. All right, Robert Router is fixed! Exclamation point. Super domestic or bust. Very good. I'll go with that, man. Super dome or bust. All right. Well, hey, wherever you're going with it, man, I'm down with it. There you go, Robert. Robert G, in just my opinion, sign a free agent, best cornerback, Jalen Johnson or Ladarius Sneed, exclamation points. Draft best available defensive end. Yeah, that I'd be down with that. Just because cornerbacks usually take time to grow, and not that all spots don't, but cornerbacks do take a little bit more refining, in my opinion. All right, Manbear, greetings, salutations, and back at you. Hopefully, you have a great morning. Fred Pierce agreed. Didn't realize that. What's the possibility he can do it again going into his fourth contract or even get double-digit sacks? I mean, I guess that's where you have to rely on your scouts and coaching department, your in-league scouts too. So there's a difference between college scouts and in-league scouts. In-league scouts, they're just scanning around the league for anybody who's potentially going to be cut or waived, etc., and keeping abreast of players on practice squads, etc. So in that scenario, I guess how much belief do you have in Liam McNeil? Do you have in Aiden Hutchinson? Because as they grow and rise as players, that's going to help an aging, in your case, Khalil Mack, keep pretty good production. So food for thought. All right, Manberg, how's it going, Dr. Dr. D, 9 drinks, and Kurt? Yeah, we got a big crowd in here today. I'm liking it. A good crowd, too. Pierce, Fred, my expectations for Mack would be 8 to 9 sacks. That's a good pass rusher, second production. Yeah, I think if you can get anywhere near double digits out of whoever you're bringing in, you're probably pretty happy with them. All right, Trumps, I'd take a Super Bowl with a 3-year rebuild. Fair enough. Yeah, probably anything that got the Lions to Super Bowl, probably most fans are going to be pretty forgiving if it takes a couple more years until we're relevant again. So, yeah, I get your point there. All right, Dr. Detroit Manberg, what up? All right, Fred, what do you got? Pierce, I love that as long as the money isn't too much. Yeah, I agree with you. Nine drinks from Man Bear, all love here. Very good. K Drum, I think we go to cornerback in free agency. Brad clearly likes a year 3 player, and we have D line going into their 3rd year. Yeah, you're correct with that. Dr. Detroit, sign 2. Mine is Chris Jones and Patrick Surtain. All right, Dr. D, how are we getting Surtain Jr.? Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to trade to get him though. That would you'd have to trade quite a bit to get him. All right, Dr. Detroit, Simmons would be good though too. Yeah, Simmons is not bad by any stretch. 9 drinks. Can they make Kruger or a Kruger for Mountain Dew? That I don't know. I'll have to look into that. All right, Taylor Made, what do you got? I don't know what everybody else is doing, but an extra $30 million won't be going into player acquisition just to win the NFC North. No, sir. No. If you're making that big of an investment, your idea is to win the North, and that propels you into home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So, yeah, you're in it to get to the Super Bowl and then win the Super Bowl. Dave Smith, Kansas has to let Snead or Chris Jones go. I like Jones better fit for the Lions. That'd be a heck of a get if you were able to get him. And as we did the video earlier this week, Chris Jones liked Lions media. So maybe that's a foretelling statement that he wants to come to Detroit if he can't re-sign with Kansas City. We'll have to wait and see. Motown Mitch, why not both, Dave? Yeah, well, why not? All right, 9 drinks, both. Thumbs up. All right, we'll go after both. I'd be happy with it. Dave Smith, they would never let both go. Yeah, I don't foresee it, but it doesn't mean it couldn't happen. I just don't foresee it. Trump, did they cut Will Harris yet? Surprisingly, Will Harris has not been let go yet. And Kurt Steele, if you're watching, I'd love to get your thoughts on Will Harris. Polar Bear, if they signed Justin Jefferson to a record wide receiver deal, Kansas City would have to. Yeah, and man, what will Justin Jefferson get in free agency, man, or in his next contract, I should say? Yeah, that's gonna be a massive deal, man. All right, Boo. Good Sunday Dew Cruise, Superdome or bust. 2 birds in hand are better than none. Yeah, I'll take that all day. So, can we get somebody? Will we get somebody? We're gonna know pretty quick. Dave, if they hadn't raised the cap, we would have had better leverage. It is what it is at this point. Thomas, NFL teams get very creative with cap space. Yeah, and you're not wrong there. All teams do. I mean, if you really want to pay guys and you want to be creative with your deals, you can find ways to free up some money, 100%. All right, burger time. Lions offseason goals, address pass rush and secondary. We are so close. Address this, and we will be playing in the big one, exclamation points. Woo! 100%. I agree with you on that. 9 drinks. Trump, Will Harris is a free agent. Is he? All right. Well, I guess I don't know the entire list off the top of my noggin, but man, here's the question. Do they bring Will Harris back? I'm thinking not, but you never know, I guess. Motown, what do you got? With the cap, raised Lions could very easily free up enough room to have $100 million in cap space. Yeah, if they're gonna go out of their way to free up that much money, yeah, they're going after a couple very targeted people, I would assume. All right, Scott, injuries aside, Holmes addressed our secondary last year. Fingers crossed he tackles D-line this year and get Hutch help. Another cornerback, 2 maybe, question mark. We were so close. It's go time. Yeah, 100% there. Robert G, totally agree. At burger time, yeah, yep. Thomas, Brad let us all know in his end of the season press conference he does not try to win the offseason. Expect mid-tier signings. Yeah, I would say you're probably spot on, and that would be consistent with what he's done in the past. So I think that's a good point. Ed, I would go after a cornerback in free agency to get the best one, no matter how much it costs. All right, yeah, and we'll see how much. I mean, you can debate who the number 1 corners are. I think then it just comes down to what are those guys going to command on the market. All right, Thomas, if they re-sign Goff, they can create more cap space immediately. Yeah, I agree with you there. JDC, the Detroit Lions the Detroit Lions that I know and love rebuilding since '57. Yes, they've been working their way steadily up for a while. Anthony, good morning, Duke Crew, Super Bowl or a bust. Boom. And good morning to you, Anthony. Hopefully you're having a great morning. One funky. Evan Brown struggles at guard. Why is he so high on everyone's wish list? I think just because when he was here in Detroit, he played center and guard, and he actually didn't do bad. But in Seattle, yes, he did struggle exponentially. I'd rather see Brian Allen, a former Ram who can play guard. There you go. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Fred, agreed, funky. Evan Brown struggled here too. That's why he got booted. Why bring him back? Just familiarity, I think, is why a lot of people maybe potentially target him. But I thought, man, the year he played basically just center, I thought he played pretty well. Motown Mitch, sounds like the Lions are about to re-sign Goff just to open up that cap space. Could be. If I get any news on it today or tomorrow, or I guess when it happens, I'll get it to you guys as quick as I'm able to. Gary, Ed Hooker was not drafted for trade bait. Holmes is not trading away our future quarterback, so embrace Hooker. He's not going anywhere. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty spot on. Taylor made, if you run Hooker out there, how much would you have to change the O? That's the question. Ooh, that's a good question. I'm thinking not a ton, but maybe I'm wrong. I haven't really seen Hooker a ton other than the college stuff, and that offense is vastly different than the Detroit Lions offense. So it'd be hard for me, or I would assume anybody, to really fairly rate him. Bit Lady, hello, Coach and Duke Crew. I hope everyone is going well for you. Same to you. I haven't seen you in a bit. Glad you're doing okay. Hopefully all is well with Bit Lady. Polar Bear, funky, I agree. There might be a better option available in free agency. I haven't explored that much. Yeah, you're probably like everybody else. Gary, what do you got? Evan Brown, question mark, really, please? Evan Brown, really, question mark? No, please. Fair enough. All right, we'll move on from Evan Brown. Trump, Hooker not going anywhere. We need a backup. Yes, you need a quality backup, and he does that, and he's cheap. So there you go. Motown Mitch, right now could not trade Hooker for a half a can of bacon grease. Kid has not seen the field yet. All right, fair assessment. Thomas, no Evan Brown. Very good. Fred, yeah, Gary, Hooker isn't going anywhere. Why trade on potential? Somebody might, though, but I don't foresee the Lions getting rid of Hendon Hooker. All right, Thomas, I would assign Robert Hunt from Miami. I would sign him. Oh, there you go. That's not a bad call at all. Detroit, Motown Mitch. Hey, you watched the Lions insider Corey on Jeff Irate's show yesterday. Looks like the Lions are moving on from Amon-Ra and Sewell and staying put on Goff. Okay, we'll go with that. So wait a minute. Are they saying looks like the Lions are moving on Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Sewell and staying put? Okay, I see what you're saying. For a second, I was thinking you were saying they were moving on from those guys, but moving to sign both of those, staying put on Goff. Gotcha. All right, Brent. Brad and the coaches will know a lot more about what they have in Hooker after preseason is over. From what I've seen from him in college, I think we keep him. Yeah, and that's where I think I'm at with him too, is just he seems to have quite a bit of stuff there in Hendon Hooker. He seems like he's got a bunch of physical gifts and leadership skills. So I'm guessing the Lions and their coaching staff just want to see more out of his progressions. But I got one question real quick, just because of what kind of Dr. Detroit brought up here. What is going on with Woodward Sports, man? I mean, I used to watch them a little bit here and there, but I have not watched them probably in months now. And it just seems like it's, at least with the morning show talent that I recall, they just seem to have moved on from everybody. And you guys, some of you guys might watch the channel. Like I said, I haven't watched it in months. Have they just fallen apart? Are they just getting rid of people? I don't know, because I don't really watch them. So if you guys have any thoughts on that or know what's going on there, let me know. But yeah, it's too bad to see some of their guys keep moving on, which makes me wonder, are they being cut? Are they being let go? Or are they just choosing to leave on their own accord? Phil, good morning. Good morning to you, Philly. Hookadoo, why don't they just keep both Goff and Hooker and play them both, at least get Hooker NFL snaps? Yeah, I think they will. And I think they want to see what they have in Hooker. I don't think they're going to move on from anybody anytime soon. All right, Anthony, what do you got here? With the preseason, we are going to know exactly what we have in Hooker. I like Goff, but I also like mobile quarterbacks. And if Hooker shows he's got it, then Goff can be his backup. There you go. You guys know my thought as a coach. Let the best person win. Have competition all day long. Whoever wins the spot wins the spot. Motown Mitch, see that Dr. Troy, just his thoughts. I don't share those thoughts. All right, fair enough. All right, One Funky Taylor, you wouldn't have to change it much at all. Hooker played well in two different systems. VA Tech runs a pro system. People always forget he played there too. Yeah, before he transferred. Yeah, Dr. Troy, yeah, I'm sure that you don't. But if it was a priority, Goff would have been signed by now. That could also be true. So the question be, why haven't they signed him then? To your point. But if they get to the preseason games and they haven't re-signed Goff, then I think, they're intentionally waiting to see what they have in Hooker. All right, Motown. Motown, let's see. Lions are about to have a new rookie class to sign, and they need a few free agents. Lions looking to free up cap, not pay max, and extending Goff frees up cap. That's a good point. Fred Taylor made media, very little change. The PA system is very versatile, and the thing Hooker, if he's as good as we're expecting, just adds another dynamic dimension to the play action system. Yeah, I agree with you there because he can scramble. Let's see, Anthony Hookadoo, 2 quarterback sets, have them both play. Doesn't Denver do that? Denver might, there have been other teams that have used a second quarterback from time to time. This series, this system, this play. Yeah, so there are teams that do it. All right, let's see. Thomas, rumors have it that the Bears are all in on Danielle Hunter to pair with Montez Sweat. That would be a nice combo, wouldn't it? They have the cap space to do that. Would be scary. Yeah, at that point, Detroit, Green Bay really got to consider how to block those guys out and to limit them. And you'll see probably an arms race towards that. Detroit, they also have draft capital. They do. Mama Marker, hey crew, won't you please hit share and then copy? You don't have to send it, but it still counts. Good for the channel. Yeah, thanks for that, Mile. You are right, and thank you for that. Gary, what do you got? Dr. Troy, I always enjoy your straight thinking and wisdom. Yeah, Detroit's, no joke. He's got some good thoughts there. All right, Anthony, I believe we do need a quarterback that can run more than 1 yard a game. I mean, come on. Hey, that's the great thing with Goff. He can play quarterback. I don't think anybody debates that. But yes, if you're looking for somebody who can scramble, it's just not his forte. All right, Motown. If Hooker ends up being half as good as everyone thinks, extending Goff is the smart move. Then you can deal Goff in a couple of years for more draft capital. It could be, yeah. As long as there's somebody willing to trade for him, yeah, you can go for it. A Polar Bear, Robert G. Cross your fingers that Darius Robinson is available at 29. I like that thought. Leah Rose, what do you got? Sorry about that. I predict the Lions will have 13 wins and 4 losses this year. Good morning, Mike. Go Lions. Good morning to you. And okay. All right. Let's see. We got Gary. Hooker time, baby. Woo! There you go. Bring on the Hooker. All right, Gary. We already have won the North, Super Bowl or bust. Yes, you get, go ahead and get into the Super Bowl and then win it. Gary, hit the like or subscribe. Hit them both. Why not? Double on down. And thanks for that, Gary. Donkey Kong, Super Bowl or bust. Good morning to you, Donkey. Hopefully you're having a great morning. Big D, the kid from Chicago is the best corner available. Has been and will continue to be. So Jalen Johnson, yeah, you like him better? All right, we'll go with that then. And thank you for that, Big D. Donkey Kong, I'm super excited for Brad. No big contracts approach to free agency. Yeah, it'd be hard to ever say he overspends because he does not spend. Anthony, was that a cracked pipe hanging out of your mouth from the profile pic? What? Huh? I guess I don't know what that's about. All right, Gary, since the cap went up, will the agents get greedy? Yeah, I'm anticipating agents are going to be trying to cash in on that, and but that's their job. Their job is to make as much money for their respective client as possible. So I get it. Don Kong, I love knowing what Brad will not spend big on any free agents. Yeah, he doesn't overpay. Thomas, Jalen Johnson is good, but really bad hands. Hopefully you can coach him up. Thomas dropped at least 4 picks. Yeah, I can remember what he dropped 2 against the Lions, and we're probably thankful at least about one of them because wasn't one of them towards the end zone, and it would have been a house call. He would have went like 97 yards for a touchdown. One funky. I think people need to start thinking about Ronald Darby. Boy, that's a name I haven't heard in a minute. Man, I can't say I've watched him enough in the last year or two to have a fair assessment on him. But the kid was fast. I know a couple years ago, especially when he came out of college, he had blazing speed. Thomas Heckno on Darby. All right, fair enough. Brent, they can gut Will Harris. He has the nuclear codes. Yeah, they can't cut Will Harris. He has the nuclear codes and know where Sheila's bodies are buried. That might be why he's been on the roster so long, something along those lines. All right, Don Kong, it's awesome that Brad will not spend big cash on any free agency. Yeah, that's true. All right, one funky, LOL, Darby has played well. Why? Hell no. That I don't know. Signed best cornerback over 6 foot tall. Well, there's quite a few corners out there that would fit the bill, but the best one, I'll let you guys debate who the best one is. Thomas will Brad will sign Mosley because he will be a cheap due to injury, and Mosley will miss first 4 games, and that will be our signing. Hey, if he could stay healthy, it might not be a bad signing because the guy can play when healthy. Don Kong, Brad will not go back to Mosley. All right, fair enough. We're shooting that one down. Miles Marker, JDC, funny. Building sense. Yes, they have been rebuilding since the last championship. Motown, what do you got? Thomas needs more than one cornerback. All right, fair enough. Thomas, Joey Bosa will join his brother in Frisco. There could be some possibility to that. Polar Bear, I didn't realize Mosley is 29 already. Yeah, and he's missed since he was 27. All right, Don Kong, teams that appear in the NFC Championship are not building. No, they are trying to finalize. Let's go with that. They're trying to finalize. Thomas, Motown Mitch, yes, sir, agree. Fair enough. Burger Time, great points, Thomas. There you go. Let's see, Mile, Joey can go to San Francisco, and then we can take out both of Bosa boys at once. There you go. 9 drinks. What time does the game start? Boy, we got a while, don't we? We got months. All right, Thomas, we actually have McNeil, who is in his last year of contract as well. Yeah, we've got, the first drafted players for Detroit Lions with this regime, yeah, they're all coming up on new contracts, and that's going to happen every year because every year you're going to have a new class that, hey, those contracts are expiring. My bit lady, hi, yeah, good to see. Yeah, good to see you back. All right, mile marker, Brett DeWitt, how's recovery? Yeah, that's a fair question. I'm assuming okay, but yeah, I haven't asked him in about 3 or 4 days. Tim, you need to see see what? Thomas, we should see St. Brown new contract here in the next week or so. That will create cap space. I'm fine with that. Yeah, and I think we all agree St. Brown's not going anywhere. All right, Billy the Kid, Detroit isn't moving on from anyone. People need to understand how NFL contracts work. Fair enough. Motown Woodward has died. Yeah, what happened to them? Because they seemed like they were doing so well for a while, but now I just don't hear anybody even mention them. And maybe that's just I don't watch them, but it's they just kind of tanked. John Punks, all right, fair enough. Woodward's Punks, fair enough. Trump, I stopped watching them because of that fool Adam. Yeah, and I don't think he's been on there for a minute, so I wonder what happened to him. Don Kong, Woodward morning show is not good. All right, we'll go with that. Donkey Kong. Billy Kid, Woodward probably pays less than minimum wage. It's a starter job. Yeah, and that there could be truth to that. I have no familiarity with him whatsoever. Anthony, I know the owner had texted Jeff and said a bunch of mean things and fired him, but yeah, they're falling apart. Man, I wonder why. You want me to be fully honest? The Jeff kid, I thought he was pretty ho-hum. He could have used, probably a few Mountain Dews before he got in the air just to have a little bit more excitement. But it doesn't mean the kid was bad or anything. Like some of you guys said, it was probably one of his first gigs on the air. And I know a few people have mentioned in the last week that Woodward's this or that, or this guy's gone, that guy's gone. I guess it is what it is. All right, Boo, what do you got? Brad Holmes is going to sign guys, and he's probably getting as many at a discount rather than one big contract. Yeah, that's where I would tend to agree with you, Boo, that Brad Holmes is going to look for probably not the top, the A-list guys. He's going to look for the B and C-list guys to basically round out the team, make sure the quality is as strong as it can be across the board for the franchise, and then use the draft to try to get your home run guys. Don Kong, the rest of the Woodward shows are okay. I like the heavyweights personally. Yeah, and I just haven't watched them in a while. Most of those guys seem like they're pretty good. It seems like the bulk of their quote unquote talent is in the evening or the middle of the day. But again, I just haven't watched them. Ed, I quit watching Woodward Sports because of the every other word was F word. Yeah, and I know a couple people have mentioned that. Thomas, it's because Mr. Wicht Awesome is a control freak. I'm assuming that's the owner of Woodward. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm assuming that's who that is. All right, Trump. Yeah, right, Ed. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Tim, what do you got? Good morning, Duke Crew! Exclamation point. Y'all need to see the CFL corners rookie highlight reel. He's aggressive to the ball and knows how to catch it too. Yeah, and Tim, there's been a few of you guys in the chat that have asked me to look into him. I'm going to probably do a video on it tomorrow. I feel like I watched a bunch on him yesterday when I was waiting at the airport with the kiddo. I got a pretty good idea with him from a few things before that. I'll do a little bit more of a dive on him today and see what I can get to you guys tomorrow morning. Billy the Kid, Detroit is not changing quarterbacks as long as Goff keeps playing the way he is. What the heck is wrong with the fan base? Hey, I think there's the vast majority of the fans for the Detroit Lions like Goff. But I also get, Hooker's the unknown. There's the old adage in the NFL, the most popular guy on any team is the backup quarterback because they've done no wrong. And Billy, that's all I think it is, man. He hasn't done anything that makes us hate him. So you know what? He must be right. Hong Kong, Ed Huff, that was the only when Adam was at Woodward. Yeah. And it could be. So, and I don't know if Adam is around somewhere else now or anything. I don't know the guy. All right, Paul Bear, don't start your own podcast if you work for Woodward. Don't start. Yeah, there's probably truth because I would assume they would consider that competition. And I don't know if they have anybody sign non-compete disclosures or anything. So with me returning to doing a little bit more journalism since it was in a different format. So my return to journalism, I'm not doing anything on sports. So yeah, they didn't care. Trump, Adam was a tool. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Tim, I agree with you. BK. Yeah. Kid. Yeah. Billy the Kid. Yeah. Well done. I quit watching Woodward because it's bad take after bad take. Shows become unwatchable. And one of the problems with a channel like that is they've got to put out like 12 hours a day of content. And if it's just on sports, to be fair to everybody, is at least as fair as I can be, that first group is going to talk about topics you're going to see the second, third, and fourth group talk about. And it's probably a real challenge to come up with fresh new takes all the time. Bill the Kid, the Goff extension stuff is ridiculous. The guy deserves our support and fan base. Let's not be ungrateful. No, I agree. I don't think he's leaving. I don't think he's going to. I do think the team may potentially want to see what they have in Hooker. But like I said at the start of the show, I could see Goff being here at least 3 more years. Beyond that, who knows? Because the NFL is just so fickle. I mean, if you ever want to know and get a sense for how quickly players can change in the NFL, I used to use this rule. Go back 3 seasons ago and look at the old Madden games. And not that I don't play Madden anymore, but look at the player ratings then versus now for the guys that are still in the league. Very few are still relevant who were relevant 3 seasons ago. And that's just the nature of this league, in my opinion, different than any other pro sports league. Guys' careers change so radically, so fast, at least the vast majority of them, that's the thing. It's hard to really predict 2, 3, 4 years out who's going to still be relevant. All right, Thomas, Cleo Max rumors is going to back to the Raiders again. It could be. Maybe he says, hey, I'm going back to the team I started with. This is my swan song. That's where I want to finish up. Gary can't stand Woodward Sports. Only think Spencer is wise. I only participate in this group and Matt Derby. I don't know Matt. I guess I'll have to check him out. But thanks for that, Gary. Molly Barrett, Jared Goff, chants are still going on at the Red Wings games. Hey, I thought that was one of the coolest things ever where you could see that. You could see it at high school games. People across the nation really embraced Jared Goff. And again, I don't think he's going anywhere. All right, Motown Billy the Kid, I would not agree more. However, lots here like those false narratives pushed by Woodward. There you go. Fair enough. Thomas Polar Bear, true story. Fair enough. Anthony, I believe in Goff doesn't do it here. His career will be over. Lions have built around a play action quarterback in Goff. They have. They've set him up nicely. And you know what? Hey, I think Goff has done far better than anybody ever anticipated he would be able to do when we first acquire him. And bravo to him, man. All right, Thomas, Will Harris will be defensive coordinator, new water boy. There you go. DC's new water boy. I'll go with that. Brent, mile marker, slower than expected, but trying to stay positive because recovery is postponing my next trip to the Philippines. Well, I just hope you recover, man, and you're okay. Doug, good morning, Coach. A good Sunday to you. Back at you, Doug. Hopefully having a great one. All right, a couple more here. It's been an hour. Billy Kid, we are going to win at least one Super Bowl with Goff. I concur. Hooker is not playing unless Goff gets hurt. Should he? I think Goff is going to have an MVP type year next year. There's real evidence with that, especially with the weapons we have, and of course Ben Johnson returning, etc. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it a show for now. I'm just going to go ahead and head on out, get ready for work. It's a big, busy day. If there is some breaking news later today, I'll try to get to you as quick as possible. Other than that, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We are about 80 or 70, whatever it is, subs away from hitting 6,000. If you would be so kind, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and then we'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.